All right. There's a lot of great content creators on YouTube. I use YouTube all the time to channel my inner handyman or photographer or professional gamer. And whether I'm looking how to change the headlight in my Subaru, or I'm getting inspired by the latest Pete McKinnon video.
Up in helicopter, November 300 Whiskey Zulu, running up next to the pump, so we taxiing to runway 08 for northbound departure on landing.
There's a common thread across it all. This content got created by someone to tell a story or give their unique perspective and take on something. Maybe you're entertained, maybe you walk away with a new take on something. But that high bar of maybes is what inspired me to blow some dust off my editing skills and start putting my context, my thoughts, my experiences down the disc and see if my take on whatever it is I'm talking about can help someone else out there. So that kind of brings me to what I want to talk about today. My family just wrapped up about a 6-month process of designing and building a new house. And I wanted to give my perspective on the company we chose and the process we went through. So maybe you all can get some insight out there. I'ma go get it tonight. The real estate market this year has been pretty crazy. Supply wasn't meeting demand. And we were looking for houses on the traditional market for a while. We just got disillusioned pretty fast as we'd see them come up, and within hours they get locked in the contract. So after this happening about 3 times in a row, the realtor we were working with suggested that we set up some appointments to see new home builders in the area. Now, we've owned a couple houses in the past, but had to admit, I knew nothing about building a house. So come to find out, there's quite a few builders in our area, almost too many to keep track of. And each one has a footprint in anywhere from a couple to like 20 plus neighborhoods. We kind of had an idea of where we wanted to land, but we started looking in the cities around the area first. We used a niche or a niche, but we were able to find out about schools and random population statistics, crime. I definitely wouldn't rely on just this, but it was a cool place to start getting ideas about an area you don't know. So helped us narrow down our neighborhood search and places we'd want to move to. The other thing to help us in narrowing down our neighborhood search was we set some priorities, and being close to friends and family was number 1, and then schools in the neighborhood were number 2. So we got an area, narrowed it down to what builders were working there, and it happened to be that Drees was the only builder in the neighborhood that we liked the most. So we were pretty excited about that. It's a little rainy out here, but it's tough to look at this and know exactly how everything's going to turn out. When we were initially checking out lots, this is what you see, or it's wooded. They've actually torn this down recently to kind of level it out. But there's going to be a row of houses on this street and a row of houses on the other street. How does that look? How is that going to turn out? So kind of got to make a leap of faith, and we looked at the way that the rest of the neighborhood was set up and similar neighborhoods to it. But the PDF that just shows lots doesn't really convey all this information. So I feel like you got to go out and check it out yourself, get a feel for the neighborhood and just how everything looks. So we went back and forth on exactly which model we were going to go with. One thing that's pretty cool is through the website, a lot of the models that have been around for at least a little while have an interactive map / blueprint thing that lets you build out or model out some possibilities for the house that we're gonna move into. It's pretty cool. There's a lot more options when you actually get in there, though. We found that the 2-hour meeting that we had scheduled ended up taking about 4 hours, just because we wanted to know everything that we could possibly do. And then once we had that meeting, we got everything put together. About a week or two later, we got blueprints. It's cool to look at. It's cool to have and go back after we've moved in. But you get your first check set, is what they call it, and they just verify that everything is as you planned. So this is a house that just recently got sold, and I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like now that people are about to move in, and you can see how they actually built out the land versus what it looks like in the pictures. Here's another angle. So they have the sunroom edition, the same one we have on our Quentin. And if you opt to put in your own deck later, this is kind of how it gets sealed up. They can't legally sell the house with a door that opens up to nothing on the second floor, so they have to secure it somehow. So I'm assuming these people are probably going to add a deck later on. Something similar to what we did with our patio. I think without question, this is going to be a sick backyard one day. So we had our blueprints, we had our lot picked out, everything was good to go on the structure side. Next we went to the design center and got to pick out all the finishes for the house. It's a pretty cool experience. You get some time with an interior designer and get to go through and make all the selections. So the first thing they told us was use Houzz, use Pinterest, use some of the resources out there, build some idea books and pin boards. Try and formulate some consistency for the story that you want your house to tell. Try and bring it all together so you got the same concept. Ultimately, when you come into this meeting, you kind of want to have an outline for what you want the house to look like. You don't want to come in with no ideas, because there's so many choices and so many things to pick. It can kind of be daunting. They have snacks there, they have drinks. They know it's not easy for everyone. And we definitely saw some people that were going to have to regroup and come back because I think they were a little unprepared. But overall, it was an awesome experience for us. It was something we were super stoked about. It's kind of like being in a Home Depot or Lowe's and just being able to pick out everything you want. Have fun with it would be the only tip I'd give you. So now the work started getting done. It was about a 4-month process of the hole getting dug to having a finished house that we were able to buy and move into. And it was awesome watching it along the way. About every week or so, we would get an update from the builder. We'd have about a 10-minute conversation. He'd tell us what was running behind, what was on schedule, what was ahead of schedule, any shortages that will come up. We were pretty lucky. We didn't have any setbacks throughout the whole time. And we were able to move in at the date that we actually picked about 6 months ago. We took the kids with us as much as we could, so they get to see the house. They wouldn't be afraid of the move, and they were excited as us, in all honesty. They had some neighborhood friends. We'd go on Fridays, they'd bring their bikes and they'd get to play. They got to pick out their rooms, they got to see the house go up and really be involved in it. So it was a good experience all the way around on that front. And it was just really cool for us to see the craftsmanship and the care go into building our house. It's a big investment we're going to spend like the next 30 years paying for, and hopefully 30 years at least living in. I'm going to show off the patio first because This is what we got in return for not doing a little bit of a higher level and being right up against the ridge. We got a flatter yard and still a little muddy. You can see the seeds coming in. But we're also able to put on this stone patio pavers, seating and a fire pit, and get a little privacy wall of trees that'll grow up there. You can see we added on the sunroom to the Quentin too. So after all that, we landed here. Like, dislike, subscribe. You guys got any comments, post them below. And if you want to know any more about our process with Drees, feel free to reach out on Instagram or Twitter. All right, have a good one.